What is Manor Lords? This game is amazing. First of all, it's a medieval city builder that is kind of a mix between, say, like City Skylines, Total War, and Age of Empires, but it's kind of its own thing as well. So we're going to start a new game here, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit about what I like about this game, and hopefully we can make a beautiful little town. So who should I pick here? Kind of like her. She's like angry old grandma. Her name is Beatrix. What's cool too is you can design your coat of arms. I like something pretty simple, something kind of cool here. I think the crown is cute. And there's a lot you can do here to kind of customize it, but I like a simple black shield gold crown. Let's go. So we have a few different scenarios that we can play with. Now this game is early access, so they're still working on a lot of things, but so far, just playing it off camera, I found it to be a nice little cozy game. I'm not very good yet, so we're gonna go for relaxing difficulty. We have 3 different scenarios that we can start with. Each one has its own victory conditions and its own challenges. But I like Rise to Prosperity. We can just build a little town. I'm going to do a couple things here. You can actually kind of customize how your difficulty is and different types of ways to make your game how you feel about it. I'm doing everything I can to just make it as easy as possible for me, a total noob. I want free weapon delivery because we're going to have some bad guys here. So we start with this cute little settlement here. And our victory condition is growth. So in order to win this scenario, we do have to reach the large town milestone, but let's go ahead and just get started. So we have a few supplies that we start out with here, and a little tent, and just a couple of settlers. And the main unit is the families, and each family you can assign to different jobs and different roles, but we have to give them housing, we have to give them places to store their goods, and places to actually, for example, chop wood and farm. So we do need to do roads. Just like any good city, we have to build roads to connect everything because they'll use hand carts and oxen to actually transport goods. And there is typically an outside road that things are connected to, so we're going to want to connect it over to that. And you do have to do some kind of planning when you're placing down your homes and businesses. Basically, you want to manage the traffic so that you can access everything quickly. So the first things that we want to build are actually some houses. These are called Burgageplots, and they have a really neat way of actually being placed that I'll show you guys. So typically, you can draw out the plots kind of in any shape here, but they do have to be 4 points, and then it'll automatically place them like that. Unassigned families work on construction automatically. So later in the game, you'll see we have to assign families to different tasks and different jobs and buildings. The ones that aren't assigned, you always want to have a few unassigned so that they can be the ones that work on the construction. And this is super cute. You actually see the people work on everything and start building.
Yeah, I want to pick you up from the ground. That I'm always around, 'cause I know.
So as you can see, we start with some homeless tents and a hitching post, so we don't need to build that. We have some supplies. So what we're gonna need now is a well for drinking water. So we'll put one there kind of close so that the residents can go get it. And then we have different resource gathering and farming. We will need food over time, so we're going to need to find a place to build out our farms. Now, all of this green land is fertile land for farming. We do want the farms to be relatively close, but not so much that we can't actually build a town there. So I'm thinking right here is probably a good place for our first farm. And then you can choose the different crop types. We're going to go with wheat. You can do crop rotation. So each year you can change the crops because the fertility does go down over time. But for now, we're just going to do wheat, and then the 3rd year we'll do barley because wheat is what we're going to need the most of so that we can get our food stocks up in the early game. And in order to actually get people to work in the fields, we do need a farmhouse, and it has to connect to a road. So I think right there, we'll build the farmhouse. Now, we do have to wait for the families to finish constructing their homes, and then over time, they'll go here and they'll build the farmhouse, and then we can start assigning workers to it. Another thing that we have here is exposed goods. So these are our supplies. They're sitting out, vulnerable to weather or raiders that can come in and steal it. What is this? I have heard of your renown. I only seek to defend my rights and honor against those who would wrong me. This is Hildebot von... I can't pronounce that. He is one of the neighboring lords, I guess. We're not going to talk to him. We're going to let him cry and whine a little bit. But in order to get our supplies, we will need to build storage, which is going to be in logistics here. And the first one we'll build is a granary, because this is going to be super important to keep our food safe, especially in the early game where food... We have 7 months of supplies right now, and we need food and fuel. And as we build out more of these homes and bring in more people, those supplies will start running out quicker. So now what we're going to need to do is start assigning families. And right now we have a total of 5 families, and they're all unassigned. So we're going to actually assign 2 to work in the farmhouse, and then that will actually start bringing people in to start planting the farms and plowing the fields and getting it ready for wheat. Another thing that we're going to need to build is a storehouse, and I think this is a good place for it too because our supplies are here. And the storehouse is going to store all the other goods that aren't food. We do need to actually start mining timber though, or chopping timber. So we will have to build a logging camp because we're running out of timber to build with. And then we're basically screwed if we run out of timber. We only have 2 left here, so I think close to the forest is actually where we're going to build the logging camp. So right here is a good spot. And now we don't have any more wood, so we can't build anything. But over time, as soon as they build this, we'll get more. And I'm going to assign 2 more families to this so that we can get more wood to actually build our supplies. So here it shows our surplus goods. We have quite a bit of food and fuel. We don't have any crops or materials yet, but we'll get these over time as our city grows and we level up. So we do need to assign somebody to the granary so that we can actually put our exposed goods in there. And we will need to build a marketplace as well. And basically a marketplace gives people a place to sell their goods and distribute the produce. And I think the marketplace is going to go kind of here near where the people live. And then, as you can see here, so assigned family set up stalls automatically as long as there's enough space. And it'll kind of give you an idea of what supply and demand is. And the closer that the homes are to the market, they're going to get whatever they need first. And if we click on the homes here, it'll show what they need. They need food, fuel, and clothing, and they can buy that at the marketplace. They have water access. We don't have a church yet, but we will build one. And then those requirements are what we're going to need to actually level up these burgage plots. So right now, we're already starting to gain more timber, and I think we're going to use it to build more of these burgage plots so that we can house more settlers. And there, we just built 3. So we have no unassigned families right now. So we're going to have to take somebody off of work here. We'll take one person off of the farmhouse for now so that they can work on actually building these homes. You can see our approval rate is going down mainly because of homelessness. And once we build these homes, we'll actually have enough to house all of our people and all of our families. So our settlement level has increased and we have a new development point. And we've also been given some weapons so we can form a militia to defend the city. But what I want to do right now is actually work on our development points. So what I've learned is we want to do charcoal burning first so that we can build a charcoal kiln, because the last time I played this on my own, I built up this big city and I ran out of fuel and my people started dying from cold. And you need charcoal to create fuel. So we're going to start with that. And so we're going to build 2 buildings here. The charcoal kiln, which we just unlocked, and the woodcutter's lodge that's going to create firewood. And that way we have a way to develop fuel because we're going to need firewood and charcoal. And that way we have enough fuel to last us. But we also need a way to create more food. So while the wheat is growing, we do need a windmill to actually process this wheat into flour. And then a communal oven to bake bread. And what I really like about this game is just how alive everything feels. Like, look how cute this is. Like, it really does feel like you're in a medieval village somewhere in ancient Europe. Like, this could be like England or Germany or something. And just all of these little details, the plants, the flowers, the trees, the buildings, it all just looks nice. And the way there's puddles on the road when it rains, and this little guy walking around. Hey, Ditz, how you doing? And food stalls in the marketplace automatically populate as you have more goods to sell. But let's keep going and building our city out. Another thing that we're probably gonna need here, a couple of different camps for mining. So we have a stone deposit here, which is the perfect place to build a stonecutter's camp, because we do need stone for construction of some buildings as well. Roads don't really cost anything, so we can just kind of build them to connect up all of these buildings.
Don't try to go along. Don't say I never told you. When you wake up tomorrow and your heart ain't feeling right, I'd love to steal up all of them, say goodbye to pain inside.
And I do really like how basically the way that these are zoned, it fills up whatever space between the 4 plots, and it does it in whatever way works. So you're not really tied down to a specific grid or way of doing things. We are probably going to need some more farm fields as our city grows. And what we can do here is actually get rid of some of the trees and replace it with farms right there. And it'll automatically cut down those trees. So now we can actually level up some of our burgage plots and create what's called a backyard extension. And basically what this does is it takes the family from there and changes them from a assigned or unassigned and creates them as an artisan, where they kind of run their own little business outside of their backyard. So we can do vegetables, we could do chickens, or we can do goats. Now we need as much food as possible, so we're gonna go with vegetables. And now these people are going to create their own little vegetable plot in their backyard. Now we are going to need to order new livestock so that these people will be able to move things faster and that our stable will have more space. So we can order an ox or a horse. I think we're going to order a horse. So we're going to take one of these families off of the logging camp, and we don't need fuel yet. So I do have these available for when we do, but what we do need to do is probably develop some more food. While these are under construction, we're actually going to leave this family unassigned for now until they will build this. So the windmill is going to be important. I'm going to change the priority to highest because I want them to build this windmill first so that I can start creating some flour from the wheat that we get once this field is harvested. And as you can see, this game requires a lot of management of resources and growing your population and making sure you have enough for them to level up and for them to survive. We're running very low on food right now, so we're gonna need lots of it, which we can do a berry foraging hut. And I actually don't know where the berries are gonna be, but I'm gonna put it there for now. And we'll assign one family to the windmill because the farm is almost ready. It's 28 days left to harvest, and then we'll be able to actually get our crops, and then they'll take these wheat crops and they're going to process them into flour here. Once we build this oven, we'll actually be able to convert that flour into bread. And so we'll have a full production chain all right here, pretty close together. So because we have a low approval rating, we actually have no population growth right now. I don't know why we still have homelessness, but hopefully over time that'll go away, because I think we have enough housing for everybody. We only have 2 months before our supplies run out, and what we're running low on is food. So we do need some ways to collect more food. So we do have this one plot that's doing vegetables, and over time we will get some vegetables from that, which will increase our food stocks. I think this next person is gonna do eggs. So we're gonna add one more person in here to do eggs. And now they have a little chicken coop in their backyard. And look at that. You can even see the chickens. And everything in this game just looks cozy and cute. I really like the graphics. I really like how it feels alive. So we get a notification that harvest season has started, which is a good thing because now our fields are gonna start to be plowed, and they're gonna take all of these grains and all of this and use it to produce flour in the windmill. And while we're at it, we'll send somebody into the communal oven to create bread. We don't have any unassigned families, so we will need to figure that out. We're also starting to run out of fuel, so we're gonna need to create more firewood and charcoal soon. And now our approval rating is actually up above 50%, so we should start seeing some population growth. which is good because the more growth we have, the more families will have to work to gather resources. We will need to construct another hitching post because we're going to need more of these oxen and horses to actually transport goods and resources. And we just got a new family moving in right there. We now have a total of 6 families that can work. So I've got 1 unassigned to work on construction and then 5 working on various jobs in town. And now I'm just spending my time adding more roads for where we're actually going to expand, really just planning for the future while I wait for my resources to come in and things to develop over time. We will need to assign a family to the farmhouse right now because these fields are going to need to start being planted. So we're going to need to create more of these hitching posts because we can't really upgrade them yet, and they are really important. And I think this is a good space to kind of keep most of our hitching posts because this is where a lot of the action is. And now we're coming into winter, which is bad. At least we do have 2 months of fuel and food, but we are going to really have to focus on fuel for the winter. So it's good that we have charcoal and wood cutting for firewood all right here, because that's going to be crucial to keep our city alive. While we're at it, we can also build a tavern, which is going to help increase the happiness of the city. And we're going to need to produce ale. So we're going to need to get barley, which we can build more crops. Now it's wintertime, so obviously the crops aren't going to grow right now, but it's just another kind of part of planning for the future. Where's our farmhouse? We want to keep this relatively close to the farmhouse. This is not the best place for barley, so we can see the overlays here of the different fertilities. So we will put it here in the green. And then what we'll do is we will focus this on barley. We're going to need a malt house to use malt to produce the ale. Now, because we have a variety of food in the marketplace, as you can see, our approval rating's gone up to 58%, which is going to help with new people moving in. So again, we're going to build more housing, really prepare for the future, because people are moving in, and we want to make sure they have houses. And I can level up this, but it looks like I don't have enough of anything to really produce. So we're going to wait on that. It looks like I am going to need more planks to build some of the higher level buildings. And in order to get planks, we need a saw pit, which is going to take the timber that we produce over here and transform it into planks. And this has kind of become our industrial area, so to speak, that's focused on wood. So we're going to put it over here somewhere. Maybe right there. Now we are chopping down that forest like crazy, which is going to cause them to have to run a little further to get some wood, but that's okay. We'll monitor it. We may have to do forestry. We may have to move it, but for now, I think we're okay. So the charcoal kiln is full. We are going to move this person and just let them do some generic construction. We don't need any charcoal. We've got plenty of fuel. We've got plenty of food. We have 9 months of supplies. Now we can start focusing on other goods. For example, the saw pit. I want to get this constructed soon, so we're doing highest priority. Okay, where are my families? I know you're here. There we go. Look at that. You can actually see them doing the work to build it. And then they go back for the night. They come back with another cart, another ox. And the speed of things getting done kind of matters where you put things. So we are going to throw somebody in on this. And that way they can start creating planks for us. But yeah, the speed of how anything gets done really matters where you place stuff. So I've got this hitching post here. This is kind of a central location for all of our animals that'll help to transport goods. And sort of the backbone of everything that's important that gets done is all here. So if I were to place these hitching posts far away, the people would have to walk over, get the ox, then walk over, get the supplies, then take it to the building site, and it would just make everything take longer. You do really have to think about where you place everything in relation to everything else. It's kind of nice to see that in a medieval city builder. Really good little planning tools and stuff. Shows that even in the old times, city planning was important. Now, we do have enough planks to build a church, which is going to be important. And that's going to help our people to level up. So I think because this is pretty close to all the residential zones, we're going to put it right there. And the church is really going to help with the happiness too, which we're doing pretty good. Our happiness did go up a bit for a second, but it's gone back down. And we now have a lot of unassigned families, so we can actually put them into some more diverse lines of work. For example, sheep farm. And I'm going to leave them unassigned for now while we build all this stuff. I'm going to assign one person to the tavern, though, because that's going to help to bring this operational. So we have plenty of firewood, so we are going to unassign this family and put them somewhere else. We are going to put them to the stonecutters camp because we're going to need some stone to build some more complex buildings. And we always are going to need more food. We're starting to run a little low, but we'll just add some more farmers here. And now our happiness is at 65% because we have a high variety of food in the market, but it did go down. So, and once our church is completed, we can assign one of our unassigned families to the church to work the church. And now that will start providing an immediate benefit to the city. See, now these people have church access. We do need some clothing to level this up. We can expand living space, but we can't level it up yet. So we are going to expand living space. And when we do that, it at least provides more space for people to live in there and adds additional families. So my stonecutter camp storage is full. So we will need to work on getting that over. We can create a storehouse. I am going to create another little logistics center here. We'll do a hitching post and a storehouse so that any goods created over here can easily be transported because we are starting to get stonehouse. We've got our windmill and oven, and we can start building more little industrial plots over here. So we're going to build a mining pit so we can start mining ore. And this is an iron deposit. So this is going to be important for creating weapons and more complex goods. We'll build a little road there. And I am going to throw another hitching post or two down so that we can put some livestock there. And now we have a ton of stone. We have 45 planks, 8 timber. There's a lot of other things we're going to need over time. We do have a good amount of food, fuel. So once this mining pit is done, we're going to put it on highest. I'm going to start assigning workers to this so that we can start getting some iron ore, and then we can process that iron ore into other goods that we can use to build weapons. So I'll assign one family to work this. We are going to go into our industry, and we're going to do a bloomery right next door. We're going to put that on highest priority as well. So our generic storage is full. What does this mean? Okay, it just means they're going to send it over to the storehouse. We'll throw one person on the storehouse. And I do really like how this game handles zoning plots. Like, that is so cool. Just the way it shapes it to the natural contours of whatever you have around it. I don't know. I like it. And then it'll create little fences and backyards, and it does make it feel like a more organic, natural place. So we just created the bloomery, and we are going to add in one person to that, and we're going to put a smithy too so that we can create tools. And that way all of this industry is kind of in one place. So we can create an army. Right now we have 20 spears, 20 shields, and 30 recruits. So what we will do is add a spear militia, and we'll have to wait. So we have 20. They are going to stay here, and then we can rally them if we need them. That way, at least we're starting to get ready to defend our town in case there are bad guys that come around. This is a pretty relaxed scenario, so I don't think there's a lot of enemies, but it is nice to have the military option. And I think there are some bandits and raiders that will come eventually after a couple of years. So we only have 2 months of supplies left. Our food and fuel are starting to run low. So we will start producing more fuel. We will need to take a family off, probably saw pit for now, because I think we do have more than enough planks. And we do have enough people working those. Actually might throw another person on the communal oven for now. And our city's going to grow because look at how high our population approval rating is. So now we will add one person to the smithy to create tools. So we don't have enough supplies. So maybe we will turn that down for a minute because it looks like we're going to need food and fuel. And in order to get food, we probably will need to add another person to one of these. Okay, the oven, probably the windmill. This field is going to do barley this year. So we will need to add another field. And I'm thinking right here. And then we'll put another one here if we can fit it. Yes. And these are going to be wheat. And we'll have to throw another person on the farmhouse. And now we're just going to wait out the winter. Unfortunately, I don't have much fuel, and that's concerning. I may have to assign somebody to run the charcoal, and it looks like the food is definitely dying. But we'll monitor it. We'll make sure that our people don't die. That's what I missed, is the forager hut is useless. It has to be near the berries. Okay, we hit this button to relocate. We're going to relocate it right there. And we are going to put a road on it. And then that will at least give us a place for our foragers to gather their actual berries instead of being stuck way over there. And this also gives us an opportunity to sort of expand our range of our settlement and sort of take this land for whatever use we want to do. And we can create a pasture too for livestock. So when we can buy livestock, we can put it in there. It's not an immediate need, but I am going to just put one here so that we have it. It doesn't cost anything. There. And then in the future, we can actually put livestock in there. I don't have stable space for our current livestock, so we're going to have to upgrade one of our hitching posts. Probably this one is going to be upgraded to a small stable. And also this one. That way we have more space for the livestock we do have. And we are running dangerously low on food, which is not good. And I think that's probably because I made the dumb mistake of switching my wheat field to barley. And we are out of supplies. We don't have any food. Over time, we'll get more food, but that is sad. And it's because we're in the winter time. It's going to be harder. I am going to build a livestock trading post so that we can actually buy livestock from other places. Because we're going to need livestock for our pastures, and hopefully we can buy this over time. And we'll put a regular trading post too, so that we can actually start selling our surplus goods and buying stuff that we actually need. And while we do it, we'll build more housing. So I want to get some food. We're going to need to do some trade at some point, but it's not letting me right this minute. So we want to import meat. And I think we want to have a surplus here. We're going to export stone because we have so much. Hunger, see? My people are just not happy about this. Because I didn't balance my resources correctly, so we're going to establish this trade route. And then we're going to establish a trade route where we're going to import meat. Oh, I don't have enough money for that yet, but that's okay. Once I sell off some of my surplus goods, I'll be able to get some meat. I must just be low on everything. Do I have crops? I have no crops. It's 138 days before we can actually harvest. We're pretty much screwed for a little bit, and we just have to kind of go through this period. My population is growing, though. For some reason, they're happy. Okay, I don't think we need much in the way of fuel right now. I probably need to add another person. But I don't have enough money. Do I have enough money for any of these? No. I'm going to throw more people onto the farmhouse so that we can really work these fields. So I think we are going to need more fields now. We're going to need more wheat fields for sure. Because we have the ability to produce bread. So that's what we're really going to focus on by expanding our wheat fields. But unfortunately, it does take time. Like, for example, here we got 80 something days before we can actually harvest our wheat. And each field takes quite a lot of time to grow, be harvested, be taken over. Now we're just out of food. And we're going to be out of food for a while. Look at that. We're going to continue to export as much of this stone as we can until we can get enough money to import meat. That's what we need. We need 24 gold to import meat. What is our wealth right now? We have 3. So it's going to be a minute. So I still have 43 days until I can get my wheat and then bring it in here to create food. Basically, no matter what I do, I just have to wait. I'm just going to keep working on building homes. That way, once we do have food and the place expands more, we'll be able to have lots of workers. We'll have to feed them all, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll do another wheat field. That can be a good farm right there. It's almost time. We have 14 days. 14 days and we can actually harvest our wheat fields. This one's 12 days. Look at that. These ones, we just planted those, so it's going to be a while. We're not going to get anything out of those. Those are probably more like next season. That's like future planning. Because every season matters. Spring, summer, autumn, winter, each one has different sorts of benefits, different sorts of resources, especially with the farms. It's important to actually allow the crops to grow in the summer and then harvest in the autumn. But then winter, nothing grows. It's just like real life. And I like that. I like that realism and that each season sort of changes the way the game plays. Okay, we created some vegetables at least. That went away fast, but we are at least gathering some food now. It's September, so we are harvesting some stuff. I'm definitely going to need to add some people into these. We need to be on full production for all of that. In fact, we might need to create even more of these. Where's it going to go? Right there. We're going to assign a ton of people because we're getting lots of hunger here. I still can't afford to buy that. So we have lots of crops, lots of wheat. We don't have any flax or barley. We don't need to worry about that. Our priority right now is producing as much bread as possible. So let's get this bread. The bread is being created. It's going to be a slow process, but it's happening. This is also cute. We can follow the merchant on the trade post on his little trade route and kind of watch him. I just love all these little details that they've put into this game. Everything is just so well done and so beautiful and pretty. And the controls are pretty intuitive. I would say this whole game, if you like medieval stuff, if you like management sims, it's definitely worth it. It's cute and it's fun. I haven't even gotten into the battle and the military part of it, but I don't think I'm going to at this point. My goal is just to keep my settlement alive, and I'm not doing a great job at that. I don't have any food. So we should build a hunting camp because there are some wild animals over here, and that should also help us to get more food. And I don't know why I didn't do that earlier, and that's probably going to be the death of me because I think this is super important. This should have been one of the first things I built, actually, but I didn't because there's the animals right there. But that's okay. I'm still learning this game. I'm still learning how to take care of my people, even though everybody's hungry and dying of hunger. You know, everybody makes mistakes. Once this is built, we'll actually be able to start hunting for goods or start hunting for meat. And I think that'll help a lot. I'm gonna need to move over some of my people. I'll take one person off of the windmill here. We're gonna put these people towards hunting because I think that's gonna get us some pretty good food as well. Oh, I have 2 here. Perfect. Now this is pretty far away, but that's okay. We're going to keep sort of bringing the town over here because this is starting to kind of become its own little area. I think I can put a marketplace here. And then that'll be like another little extension of the town over here focused on these resources. So we got people working the hunting camp now. We're getting more food. See, now we have a ton of bread, a ton of eggs, a ton of meat. The food is taken care of. So we're good for now with food. We don't have any fuel, though. That's the big part. Now that we've focused a bunch of our production on food, we actually need to move into producing fuel. So I will throw one more person on the charcoal kin and the woodcutter's lodge. But now, see, we don't have unassigned families, so we will remove one more person from the windmill. And now we have more families moving in, and we're back to some level of growth. Even though we do have a lot of hunger, we're getting rid of that fast. Our food is there. I got a message. There are raiders. We should track their movement. So we have raiders coming. I do have an army here. I am going to rally them. So we just click rally. Where's the raiders? I don't see them, but that's okay. We're going to just throw our army here and just send them over to kind of guard our general area. In the meantime, we have to focus on making more fuel because fuel is going to be important. And look, all this wood is gone. We may have to move this woodcutter's lodge to over here. So what we're going to have to do right now is actually focus on forestry so that they can plant new trees. Because look at this. We've lost a lot of trees. This used to be all forest and we've cut it down. So we're going to do a forestry shed too. That way they'll plant new trees that will help to replenish our resources because we're definitely not doing great. Our logging camp's going to need to move out here too. But that's okay. There's more room for people. We don't have enough wood for that, huh? Yeah, our fuel is really low. Probably because everything got moved so far away. So we're going to move this charcoal kiln, maybe? No, we'll leave the charcoal kiln. Now what I can do for fun is visit mode. I can walk around. Apparently this is the character that I get to walk around as, this little guy who looks like Giga Chad. So let's do it. We're going to run. We're going to check out our little town. Look at this. Watching the snow melt. I don't even have to walk on the roads. I can just kind of go anywhere I want. I think this is my favorite part, is like once you've built up a little town, you get to walk around and look at it. It's super cute. Like the management is fun, and like having to forecast ahead and think about how your decisions actually impact the future of the game. Like, for example, when I didn't put a hunting lodge when I should have, and I put my berries in the wrong place, and all of a sudden I don't have any food because it takes forever to get bread. And then once I finally got the bread, I ran out pretty quickly. Like, all of that's fun. But what's really fun is just like walking around and saying hi to the people. Like, look at this. This is cute. I'm in the marketplace now, looking at the stalls, like looking at her selling her bread. Hey, how you doing? What's up? Hi. Look, she just like walks straight through me. It's like I'm a ghost. It's like they don't see me. This is our town. This is where we live. And it's adorable. Like, look at this. We can walk here. Like, just the level of detail of these little things. It's amazing that they can do this. And I have kind of like a mid-range laptop. And the performance is fine. Like, I built up a pretty decent city, and I'm not seeing any issues with lag. Like, the game is like well optimized. And it's just fun to play, and it's just cute, and it's cozy, and it's a nice, easy game. Like, it's not easy, but it's like, I don't ever feel like I'm really fighting the game to get anything done. I feel like for what it is, A+. Like, this is it's fun. There's a lot of things I still don't understand about the game itself, but overall, like, I'm having a good time just chilling and playing it. I haven't even gotten into the combat or any of that. I'm just building out my city, trying my best to manage everything and not die. And I'm doing okay. Like, it's not perfect, but here we are. So I'm going to keep this city going. And in the next one, we'll try to level up the town. Let me know what you guys think of this game. If you want to continue to see me play it, or are you going to pick this up? Are you going to give it a try?